The sun rose over Oahu on December 7, 1941. Pearl Harbor's waters were calm, reflecting the soft morning sky. American warships Arizona, Oklahoma, Nevada rested quietly at their moorings. The weekend brought a sense of ease and security. Sailors began their day, some still asleep, others preparing for morning colors, sipping coffee, writing letters, making plans. The base was alive with peaceful sounds, distant hammers, seabirds, quiet conversations. No one suspected what was coming. The island woke up as usual, church bells ready to ring, families starting their routines. The war in Europe and Asia felt distant. America was not at war. Hawaii seemed a safe paradise, far from conflict. The sailors felt it too, a sense of invincibility. The great ships, anchored in neat rows, were symbols of that belief. They were not ready for battle. Ammunition locked away, watertight doors open, anti-aircraft guns unmanned. The men were relaxed, enjoying another Sunday morning in paradise. But this was the last moment of the old world. The stillness was a deceptive calm, about to be shattered forever. The violence that would change everything was already racing across the Pacific. The ships, the men, the island, all were unprepared for what was coming. In a few short hours, the illusion of safety would be gone. The world was about to change. The calm before the storm was profound. It was the final breath before history turned. The harbor, the ships, the people, all stood on the edge of the unimaginable. This was the last peaceful morning at Pearl Harbor. The day would end in fire and chaos. The world would never be the same. The first sign was a faint, unfamiliar hum on the horizon. Some looked up, seeing specks in the sky, assumed to be American planes. The hum grew louder, becoming a mechanical roar. Hundreds of planes approached from the northwest. They bore the red circle of Japan, the rising sun. Mitsubishi Zeros, Nakajima Kates, Aichi Vals, fighters and bombers, all trained for this moment. They flew in tight formations. Their mission, clear surprise, was their weapon. On the ground, a flicker of unease spread. At a radar station, a large blip was dismissed as friendly bombers. The warning was lost. The hum became a deafening roar, echoing across the harbor. The planes descended, swooping over Wheeler, Hickam, and Ford Island. American planes, parked wingtip to wingtip, were easy targets. Japanese fighters strafed the airfields, igniting fuel tanks and destroying aircraft. The first explosions erupted on the airfields, not the harbor. The goal was clear: destroy American air power first, ensure nothing could rise to challenge them in the sky. The attack had begun. Confusion turned to terror. The time for peace was over. The sky was filled with enemy aircraft. The defenders were caught off guard. The surprise was total. The fate of Pearl Harbor was sealed in those first moments. The world would soon know the cost. The attack was underway. The morning calm was shattered. History had changed course. The first wave targeted the ships. Kate bombers skimmed low, torpedoes ready. Sailors watched in disbelief. This was no drill. Torpedoes splashed into the water, racing toward the battleships. The USS Oklahoma took the first hits. Explosions tore open her hull, water rushed in, and she began to capsize. Below decks, chaos and darkness reigned. The attack was swift and devastating. Val dive bombers climbed high, then plunged down, releasing armor-piercing bombs. The USS Arizona was hit. Her forward magazine exploded in a fireball, lifting the ship from the water. She broke in two and sank within minutes. Over 1,000 men lost in an instant. The West Virginia and Tennessee were also struck. The sky filled with smoke and debris. The peaceful harbor became a scene of destruction. The first wave had crippled the fleet. Ships burned, men fought for survival. The air was thick with the sound of explosions and the cries of the wounded. The element of surprise had given the attackers the upper hand. The defenders scrambled to respond. The devastation was overwhelming. The attack was relentless. The world watched as Pearl Harbor burned. The cost was already staggering. The first wave had done its damage, but the assault was not over. More destruction was coming. The battle for Pearl Harbor had only just begun. The fate of the Pacific hung in the balance. The world would never forget this day. Chaos erupted across the base. Sirens wailed, explosions thundered, smoke choked the air. "Air raid Pearl Harbor, this is no drill!" blared over loudspeakers. Sailors scrambled from bunks, many in pajamas, confusion turning to urgency. They rushed to battle stations, many destroyed, weapons unusable, ammunition locked away. Amid the chaos, courage emerged. Men formed human chains to pass shells, unlocked ammunition lockers under fire. On the USS Nevada, sailors got guns firing, shooting down a Japanese plane. Others rescued trapped shipmates, fought fires, manned machine guns, firing defiantly at the sky. The Nevada, though damaged, got underway, the only battleship to do so. She became a symbol of resistance, moving through burning waters. Japanese planes swarmed, trying to sink her in the channel. The crew, battered but determined, beached the ship to keep the harbor open. Acts of bravery shone amid the devastation. Men risked everything for their comrades. The fight for survival was fierce. The defenders refused to give in. The attack tested their resolve. The spirit of Pearl Harbor endured. In the darkest hour, courage lit the way. The world would remember their sacrifice. The battle raged on. Less than an hour later, the second wave arrived. No surprise this time, but defenses were still in chaos. More bombers and dive bombers targeted surviving ships and facilities. The USS Pennsylvania was hit in dry dock. Destroyers Cassin and Downs were wrecked. Bombs rained on Hickam Field, hangars and buildings destroyed. The harbor became a vision of hell. Water aflame, smoke thick, men struggling to survive. Rescue boats pulled sailors from burning water. Medics set up makeshift aid stations, quickly overwhelmed. The scale of casualties became clear: burned, wounded, trapped. The Japanese planes withdrew, leaving devastation behind. The attack lasted less than 2 hours. The Pacific Fleet lay in ruins. The harbor was a graveyard of steel and shattered lives. The silence that followed was haunting. The world had changed in an instant. Pearl Harbor would never be the same. As the last Japanese plane vanished, silence fell over Pearl Harbor. The air was thick with smoke and loss. Battleships were wrecks. The Arizona a submerged tomb, Oklahoma capsized. Rescuers searched for survivors, racing against time. Hospitals overflowed, resources stretched thin. The human cost was staggering: over 2,400 Americans killed, 1,100 wounded, 18 ships sunk or damaged, nearly 200 aircraft destroyed. The Japanese had crippled the Pacific Fleet with total surprise. But the attack did more than destroy ships. It shattered America's sense of safety. The debate over entering the war was over. News spread, uniting the nation in outrage and resolve. The era of American isolation ended. A new era of global conflict began. The fires at Pearl Harbor ignited a nation's will. The world would never be the same. History had turned in a single morning. The next day, President Roosevelt addressed the nation. December 7, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. Congress declared war on Japan. America was at war. The sleeping giant had awakened. Fear gave way to determination. Young men enlisted. Factories retooled for war. Remember Pearl Harbor became a rallying cry. The attack forged a new American identity, united in purpose and sacrifice. The war in the Pacific would be long and brutal. Midway, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. Today, the USS Arizona Memorial stands as a solemn tribute. Pearl Harbor is a turning point in history. The calm waters now hold the memory of a day that changed the world. America stepped onto the world stage, never to retreat. The echoes of that morning still shape our world.